asking for the range, so that's going to be the lowest point on our graph to the highest point. So this is actually kind of similar to the last question, where the lowest point is going to be when x is negative 4, it looks like the output is negative 6, and we are going to use a bracket. Oops. On that endpoint, because when x is negative 4, this point really does exist. Negative 6 is on the graph, and so we have to include it in the range. And then when it goes off the graph like that, we're supposed to assume there's an arrow there, I think, and so that would go to positive infinity, since it appears it goes on forever. And then the other part was k. So give the intervals of x such that k of x is less than 0. Okay, so k of x, that's the y value. So it's asking for where are the y values less than 0. So that's going to be everywhere between negative 13 and 3, except at negative 10. Because notice there isn't an equals on this, so we don't want to actually include the 0. We want to include every place where the y values are less than 0, or in other words, under the x-axis. So that would go from negative 13, and that's a solid dot, so I would use a bracket there because it's included. So from negative 13 up to negative 10. So for any of those values of x, the y values are less than 0, right? They're under the axis, they're negative values. And then we would have to do a union, and we pick back up with negative 10, because we're just trying to exclude that one point because it equals 0 there. And it stays negative the whole way until 3. And then on the 3, I want to use a parenthesis again, because again, this is a 0, so I don't want to include 0. I'm including this one because when x is negative 13, the output is negative 3, and negative 3 is less than 0. But I don't want to include these two because those are the equal 0 points, so I have to be careful to exclude those. And I think that's about it. I'll know if you still have a question.